and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you wanted to join me today because today I am going to take you guys through my favorite ethical and sustainable fashion brands. I think it's really important that there are easily accessible overviews and guides to sustainable fashion. And these are obviously not all sustainable fashion brands in the world, but these are the ones that firstly I am familiar with, and secondly brands that I use every single day. It's my favorite things. So before we get started, my wardrobe is 90% thrifted, secondhand or vintage clothing. But I do have the occasional new item, and I have a lot of requirements for the new item that it needs to fulfill before I think it's okay to purchase. It needs to be sustainable, it needs to be ethical, it needs to be a transparent brand, and it needs to have some sort of proof or certification for its claims. So people that say, my brand is totally natural, my brand is totally biodegradable, my brand is totally ethical, but without any certification or proof of transparency, it's really easy to manufacture or to fashion a reputation or an image that looks greener than it is, thus greenwashing. We don't want any of that. So I'm going to show you my favorite brands, and I'm going to make sure that you are able to see that they are okay. Does that make any sense? Okay, cool. Everything is in a pile on the floor, so that's a way to store things. So one of the first items I would like to show you is this shirt from People Tree. This is an oversized tunic shirt, I think it's called. It has small coconut buttons, and I really enjoy this. And People Tree is one of the most wholesome brands I have ever encountered. I will leave all links to the items and all links to the brands and their ethos in the comments down below, so you can go and read more for yourself, because I can't fit all the information in this video. That would be absolutely insane. People Tree are ethical and sustainable. They're fair trade, which is something I really try to look for whenever I am determining whether a brand is ethical or not. Is it fair trade? Is it transparent about its workers? Is there any mention of the workers or the factory on the website? If there isn't, that's kind of a big flag. Then I have something that's making a lot of noise. So I wanted to include my raincoat in this video, because why the heck not? My raincoat is from Margin Clothing. I will put a link obviously down below. The raincoat is made from recycled materials, which I really appreciate. And obviously if you need a raincoat just ASAP, you can obviously always find a secondhand store, thrift store, something, and find one there. But I really appreciate the effort that has been put into these products. It's very well made, it's very well thought through. And they have a whole section on the website about their production and about what kind of certifications their factory has. I think it says on the website that their factory is located outside of Beijing in China, and the factory has over 20 years of experience with recycled materials, and it's also just extremely transparent about the whole factory, which is very cool, and I love that. So it's obviously not ideal with the whole shipping situation, but it's also very hard to find the perfect sort of thing if you want to explore different kinds of brands. So I still really appreciate this raincoat. One of my favorite things in the entire world is Mala Clothing. I freaking love this brand because it is insanely edgy, like myself. Firstly, I have a t-shirt. It looks like this fair trade organic cotton. Really appreciate it. Mala Clothing is also a Danish brand, if you're wondering. But the most exciting thing, and something that I have been wearing this every single day, it is this fanny pack or bum bag, as it's called on the website. This is made from repurposed denim. I love that, because denim is one of these materials that are actually really problematic for the environment. It takes so many resources, so much water, so much energy to produce denim. Worst. And also Mala Clothing's products are produced in Estonia, which is not very far from Denmark, and it's definitely better to not outsource your production to places that's very far away. So I really appreciate this effort. There's a whole section on the website about the factory and its certifications, which I love. Okay, I have a ton of stuff from Organic Basics, which is an underwear and activewear brand, and it's Danish, which is cool. And I just this week actually I tried out their new activewear leggings made from recycled materials, which is really cool. And I got them a week ago, and I wanted to include them in this video because I have been wearing them for 5 days straight. And I also got a sports bra from them. I'm going to make a blog post in detail talking about these items because I'm actually just super freaking excited. So I really appreciate the effort Organic Basics puts into all their products. They are sourcing from the best production and factories in Europe, and I think their products are made in Portugal. There's a whole section on the website about the factory as well, which is really cool. Organic Basics also inform people about how to properly take care of your clothing and how to maintain it in order for it to last longer, which is something very few fashion brands actually choose to do, because I mean, clothing brands and clothing companies are sort of dependent upon the notion that people need to buy new stuff. So it's just so great to see companies that encourage people to use what they already have and to take care of what they already have, because that really shows me that they're in it for the values and not for the bank. So I love basic things because and I love the edginess of milder clothing. I love the specific purpose of the raincoat. I think it's great to have these items, but I also think it's really important to invest in items that are really simple, timeless, and you can have for a really long time, because that is just the essence of clothing, I think. Which is why I am really excited about this basic ass shirt from Dilling Clothing. Dilling Clothing is also a Danish brand. I really appreciate it. This is made from organic cotton, which is nice. They also have a lot of stuff in wool, but I specifically go for the cotton part because vegan. And cotton is one of those materials as well that's really problematic, because the production of it requires often a lot of pesticides, a lot of water, a lot of labor. And although organic cotton does not require pesticides, it's still problematic to produce. So Dilling Clothing told me a few months ago, maybe even half a year ago, that they are the only brand in Denmark that dyes all of their clothing in Denmark. And that's very expensive, but it's something that they choose to do because of their values, because they didn't want to outsource, which I think is just insanely cool. So yeah, definitely a big thumbs up to Dilling. And these shirts I've been using all winter as my underwear, or like outside of my underwear, inside my normal clothes, because they keep me warm, and it's great. And it's a good basic to have. So thumbs up to Dilling. I have a few more items left, and then I promise I'll be done with it. Then I am just very excited about Grin bag. Look at this big one! I have from, okay, can you even see me now? Cool. Grin bag is also a Danish-based brand, and they make bags and different kinds of storage units. This is a sleeve for a laptop, and this is a shopper. And these things are made from truck covers, and the straps are all safety belts. I'll just put them down for a sec because I couldn't, no. I have a love-hate relationship with the recycling of, or repurposing of synthetic materials. Because on the one side, I think that it's great that we get to use these materials again in order for them not to be thrown away or put into landfill. That's really important. On the other hand, I think it's problematic that we use recycled materials so much, because they will just keep adding microplastics to the wastewater and to our water systems, our oceans, our rivers. That's really a problematic thing, which is why when I have something that is made from recycled materials, I make sure that it's something I don't have to wash a lot, like a bag or a raincoat. You don't have to wash this thing all the time, which is why it's less problematic to buy it in a recycled materials. It won't retain any microplastic if it's not being washed. You feel, or no microplastic whatsoever, I don't know, but very little. And I think that's a really important distinction. But Grin bag is also a brand that I can 100% get behind. I think it's cool that they use materials that wouldn't necessarily be related to fashion and use it in a really cool and edgy way. So thumbs up to Grin bag. One of the things I've had for the longest time is my travel companion from Charlie Feast. This bag I have had for over a year at this point, maybe 1.5 years. I got it sent to me. I really freaking love this bag. And when I met up with Noor last time in Copenhagen, she had hers with her as well, and we were sort of like twinning it. So this is made from a vegan leather component, and that is also made from recycled materials. And all of this is recycled and ethically manufactured. I kind of love this bag, and I haven't had a backpack for ages and ages because I have always thought I looked really stupid with backpacks on. But with this backpack, I sort of feel like the coolest person in the room. You feel. The last thing is, I mean, super important because I look bomb in this thing. It is my oversized pair of dungarees from Lucian Yak. If I style them with my boots, I look like Audrey from the Atlantis movie from Disney, and I'm there for that aesthetic, just yes! They're dungarees in India, in a factory with 24 workers, I think it is. They have a whole section on their website, like many of the other brands, about the factory. They also specify what sort of certifications they have, as well as the conditions for the workers, like cleanliness or air conditioning. So why be so concerned with air conditioning and the work environment of people in India, and why is this something that I feel the need to talk about? Well, because when you buy clothes from fast fashion companies, when you buy clothes from what is also typically just conventional fashion stores, chain stores, this is not a priority at all. The safety of the workers, the fairness with which they are treated and paid is not a priority whatsoever. The priority for many fast fashion companies, and this is actually something that defines the fast fashion, is that the profit of the garments is the only thing that matters. So people are hurt, people they die in these factories, people work insane hours, up to 18 hours a day. I think it's so important that the ethical and sustainable fashion brands are being seen and are being heard and are easily, or increasingly easily, available to people. And that is why I wanted to produce this video. That's why I wanted to show you the kinds of clothes that I really appreciate. And it comes from a good place, or at least it comes from a better place than the alternative, because fast fashion is a horrible industry, and I have tons of other videos explaining this into more detail if you want, and I can also produce more if that is something you're interested in. But this is a really important subject for me, because this is not only something that concerns our environment, which is obviously just also mind-blowingly important, but it's also something that concerns other people. Hello everybody, so my camera just stopped working and I was actually also halfway finished for my point. I would just like to say that if you know any sustainable fashion brand that I haven't mentioned in this video, please leave a comment, because I would love to get to know other brands and just generally like to explore what kind of ethical brands there are out there. So yeah, that was just my last point, and take care. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero-waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!